With the appointment of a new national team head coach, that of course provides opportunities for fresh faces to come into the playing squad. Of course, the Socceroos this past week have appointed Tony Popovic as the new head coach of the Australian men's national team, taking over from Graham Arnold. We did a full video covering the appointment of Tony Popovic. You can check that out in the description. But in this video, we're going to go through and pick out 10 players who we could potentially see brought into the Socceroos setup. Maybe some players I'd personally like to see brought into the setup as well. First off, we're going for Riley McGree from Middlesbrough. He's really struggled with injuries this year, which has been a real shame. Riley McGree, we know, when he's at his best, when he's in form, he's a fantastic player, very versatile as well, can play out in wide positions or through the middle as an attacking midfielder. The only concern is maybe the fact that he hasn't got that much game time at the moment. He was on the bench for the last couple games for Middlesbrough, but did not make an appearance. But we'd love to see McGree back into the Socceroos setup. The second one is a pretty straightforward selection. Jordy Boss, I think he has to return to the Socceroos if he is fit. He was obviously missed the last window due to injury, but played the last 2 games for his club KBC Westerlo in Belgium. He came off the bench for those last couple appearances, and in my opinion, he's Australia's first choice left back, and I think will be for a very, very long time. If he's fit, he has to be in Australia's setup. And number 3 is a player who a lot of fans have been calling for some time now. Alex Robertson, the midfielder who currently plays at Cardiff City in the English Championship. He's already picked up 6 appearances for the club, scoring 1 goal that came in the League Cup. He's a player who obviously, is a really hard-working midfield player, and I think would add a lot of energy to the Socceroos midfield, which maybe we lacked in the couple recent games against Indonesia and Bahrain. He's obviously got so much potential as well. He's still very young. Alex Robertson, I think, certainly a chance to get into the Socceroos squad for the upcoming window. And number 4 is a player who's somewhat going under the radar at the moment. It's Callum Elder, 29-year-old left back. He's currently playing at Derby County. He's picked up 6 appearances already for Derby County this season. He's a regular starter for the club who feature in the English Championship. And he's a player who hasn't really got much of a look in Socceroos camps over the years, but provides another option in the left back position. Obviously, we've already spoken about Jordy Boss as his Beach is an experienced option. He's been a regular in the Socceroos camps over the last couple of years now. Callum Elder, though, provides a different option if Tony Popovic wants to go in that different direction there. The thing that favours him is the regular game time. He's been playing football for Derby County of late. At number 5, I think there is a decent chance that we could see Daniel Arzani return to the Socceroos setup. Of course, he was part of the side just a few months ago, and of course, he was working with Tony Popovic at Melbourne Victory. Popper brought him down to Melbourne Victory when he was at MacArthur the season prior. He had a decent season last time around as well in the A-League, 4 goals, 6 assists, and that saw him pick up his Socceroos call-up towards the end of the A-League last season. He does have to contest with a lot of other, fantastic players in those wide areas. We look at the past Socceroos window, we had like Silvera, Nabil returning to the side, Goodwin, Irankunda, and Martin Boyle. There's so much competition for places in those wide positions at the moment for the Socceroos, which is a great thing to have, but Daniel Arzani, Popovic might favour him maybe over some of those players, so keep an eye on Arzani. He could be named in the next squad. At number 6, I've gone for Patrick Yazbek, who plays at Nashville in the MLS. Young midfielder with so much potential and has featured for the Socceroos previously as well, back in the Asian Cup earlier this year. I know he was suspended for a few games, has recently returned, and again provides a different option in midfield there alongside Alex Robertson. And I think that midfield area is maybe an area of the park that we might see some chopping and changing for the Socceroos for the next window. Patrick Yazbek again provides a more useful option there for Popovic if he wants to go down that route. At number 7, I'm going for Jason Guerrier, and hear me out on this one. Jason Guerrier, this is a guy who I guess we can consider one of the most underrated players in the A-League. He was so good for Melbourne Victory last season, barely missed a game, and was so consistent, putting in a solid performance week in, week out. He started every game in Melbourne Victory's Australia Cup run this year. Of course, Melbourne Victory are in the Australia Cup final this coming weekend from the time of this recording. Jason Guerrier, I think, is a really decent option to consider for the Socceroos, especially considering that in our most recent window of games, we were missing so many right backs. Lewis Miller even was included, but he was out with injury. Of course, Alessandro Ciccardi came into that role and actually played pretty well. But Jason Guerrier, an out-and-out right back, a strong option, a really hard-working right back as well, gets up and down the pitch. Fantastic tackling ability, really good physically as well. Great height, Jason Guerrier. And considering that Popovic has worked with him previously, obviously most recently at Melbourne Victory, there is that chance with that Melbourne Victory link to see Guerrier included into the Socceroos squad. I think it's worth a shout. I think considering that, Atkinson, he's recently recently arrived at Melbourne City, but hasn't played any football this season. Gethin Jones is still out as well. No Ryan Strain. There is a serious chance I think we could see Jason Guerrier call up to the Socceroos. And number 8, another player who I think we could see return to the Socceroos is Aiden Hrustic. He recently signed for a new club in Italy's second division and is a player who just has that X factor. You know what I mean? A creative player who knows how to unlock a defense. Maybe the kind of player who we were missing in the last couple of games. Aiden Hrustic, he's been a fan favorite, I think, for Socceroos fans for many years now, since he first featured for the Australia lineup many years ago. And if he's fit, he's worth considering to throw into the lineup. Only made 4 appearances so far this season for his club in Italy, but certainly another option for that midfield area, especially maybe in a number 10 role for the Socceroos. Popovic wants to play a formation that really suits sort of a playmaker. At number 9, I've got Apostolos Stamatolopoulos. He unfortunately missed the previous Socceroos games due to injury, but he's over in Scotland with Motherwell. He returned to action last week for his side off the bench. Again, limited game time, so it's probably unlikely that we will see him included in the squad. But, Popovic, coaching against Apostolos Stamatolopoulos in the A-League last season, of course, the striker was at Newcastle Jets last season. He knows how good Stamatolopoulos is. He had a fantastic goal-scoring record in the A-League last season and provides an alternative option for the forward positions there for the Socceroos. There are certainly question marks in terms of that striker position for the Socceroos and whether Popovic makes any changes. Obviously, Mitch Duke has been there. Is there a different direction that Popovic goes for in terms of the forward positions? We'll certainly keep an eye on that one. And then lastly, another Melbourne victory connection, Bruno Fornaroli. It's a striker who has made a handful of appearances for the Socceroos over the years. 18 goals in 21 regular season games in the A-League last season at Melbourne Victory. It's worth mentioning as well, Popovic brought Bruno Fornaroli to Perth Glory back in 2019 and brought him to Melbourne Victory as well. So he clearly likes Bruno Fornaroli. He likes the kind of striker that he is. So that connection at club level there could see Fornaroli return to the Australia setup. The only concern is that he hasn't been playing regular football in the Australia Cup. He's been on the bench sitting behind Nikos Virgos, who's been starting at Melbourne Victory. But 2 appearances, 1 goal in the Cup already so far. But again, that club connection could see Fornaroli return to the Socceroos. So there's 10 possible players we could see return to the Socceroos for the upcoming games. Of course, we are taking on China and Japan in October. 2 huge games. The Socceroos need to get the qualifiers back on track, and hopefully Tony Popovic can do that. Who are some players that you would like to see return to the Australia setup for these 2 crucial games? Who are some players you think should be dropped for the squad? I'm very curious to see whether Popovic makes a real shake-up in the squad for these upcoming games. Very excited for it. Hope you guys are too. Make sure to stay subscribed for more Socceroos content here at Coach Watch Football. Hit the like button on the way up. My name's Lockie. This is Coach Watch Football, and I'll see you in the next one.